Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings,
And ourselves.
we stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds. Let in the love.
And listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will find peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world. He was among us in every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. And when you find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam, a whole new world, a better place for our children's futures at stake. And you'll find, with music in your soul, laughter in your hearts, together we can grow a better place, with love in us all. And you will find, together we can save it all. And you will find a place called home, where
talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
Oh, I told you the screen rearrangement was going to screw me up. I'm like, clicking. What's wrong, machine?
Wrong mouse. It's over there. No, it's that one. Happy Thursday. We're back again.
You know when you hear that song.
It's time for the IT cave.
And this week we are actually going to cover some IT. This one is IT centric. Something that's kind of a new topic for us. I mean, we have talked operating systems, on certain nights, but what we're going to kind of focus on, at least for the first half of the show, is since October 14th, 2 days ago, Windows 10 end user support is now done. And for a lot of people, and you'll see from our YouTube feed, like a lot of musicians who use Windows in their studios, they're not happy. They're not happy with this situation. I mean, they've known for a while now that this was coming, but it always seems like when that moment does come up, it's like, oh, I didn't know.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing is with the companies that I'd worked with in the past doing IT, I'd seen both sides of it. I'd seen the companies that wanted to be the absolute cutting edge, where they would spend all the money they could to be, up front. They wanted to be the newest. They wanted to be the beta testers. They wanted to be on top. And then there were others that wanted to hold back as much as they possibly could because they had legacy systems that they didn't want to have to upgrade. So they wanted to stay as far back as they could, and they didn't want to get pulled to the new system. So I've seen both sides of the equation.
A lot of times from that perspective, it's about productivity. And if you are going to go and change hundreds, sometimes thousands of machines in the infrastructure, how's it going to affect productivity? Is the new version going to make you more productive? Or in some cases, am I going to have to click 3 more screens of I approve, I do want to do this? The big problem with Windows, as we've gone from XP to 7 to Vista, which we don't like to talk about. Yeah, I know. It gives me the shivers to think, which is kind of what Windows 11 felt like. I felt like we were back in the Vista days for the last couple of years as they're experimenting with new APIs, new architectures for their audio and their video, which hopefully gives you better graphic support. And on the audio side, I haven't seen anything really compelling to want to upgrade to 11. I'm hoping whatever they do with 12, these audio subsystems that they're starting to play around with, I hope they get it right, because the biggest problem with these music machines, and whether I want to upgrade them, is whether my equipment and the drivers, you know how music device drivers go, like a lot of those companies do not. um, always go cutting edge with their drivers. I've had pieces of hardware that never got a Windows 10 official driver.
And that's one thing that we should do some experimenting with at some point is some of the equipment that won't handle the newer Windows. Can we deal with some of that using, virtual machines and take an operating system, take an older operating system that it will deal with, put it in a box and use it from there?
Yeah. And yes, Ange, at this point, Windows 10, unless you do some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, you won't be getting patch updates in the future. You won't be getting official support anymore. That doesn't mean that things aren't going to get patched and that there are no support channels. They're just not going to be necessarily Microsoft anymore.
And it's not necessarily actively being worked on as an active product. They're trying to retire it, move it off of that so that they don't have to spend active development time on it. They will still, like you said, if there's a massive security flaw, they have to do something about it. But
Yeah.
that's about where it would end.
And see, I'm more under the philosophy of I can secure my network and my machine better than Microsoft can. Those patches, they do help a little bit here and there because Windows does have some big holes that need to get filled sometimes. But you secure at your router, you secure at your firewall level, you secure with good habits. And not necessarily having support from them is not that big of a deal. I can run the next 10 years on this Windows 10 and I'm not worried.
Yeah,
I
and that's
wouldn't
the
I
thing is it
wouldn't put
depends on
my
the use.
client I wouldn't put my
Right.
client in that situation.
That's what it comes down to.
And as you're going to see, there's a couple of ways to approach this to deal with it. Hopefully, people don't just like go and nuke their computers tomorrow and try to get by with where Windows 11 is at the moment, which is still half baked as they get ready for Windows 12. Um, I still think that my Windows 10 music machines have plenty of years left in them. And as long as this equipment works with that version of Windows, that's where I'm sticking for the moment.
Right.
We'll see some of these options. To the IT cave. Went so fast it whipped me around.
There you go. Getting whiplash.
Yeah, and I had to cover this one just because it it's going on as we speak. It's just in the last couple of days, but it's been the talk for the last couple of weeks from a lot of the studio Spectre studios. Glenn, he's the one that actually really got me riled up because, like,
It's his
I
fault.
watched it. Well, and he does like to emphasize like Microsoft sucks. What they're doing sucks, and I was in total agreement with him. But we got some freshy IT channels for this one to cover some of this. The first one is the prime time, um, and he's going to kind of approach it the way I was talking a couple months ago. Linux is I'm eyeing Linux for some things,
Sure.
not necessarily the music side so much, but when it comes to just browsing and using cloud services, I really don't care if I'm on Windows or Apple anymore. And these flavors of Linux are getting more and more feeling like Apple and Windows OS. So,
As much as they can, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
there are
So,
certain limitations where you can't do a complete clone.
yeah, and I'm sure he'll address some of that. I mean, he's going to go into the Linux mentality a little bit, but for the most part, he's going to talk about like this situation with Microsoft and what it really means. And um, this is the title that I was seeing for the last like couple of months, where Microsoft just killed millions of PCs. It's like it's a holocaust.
Right.
And this one's coming from the grumpy sysadmin, which I was like, wow, I can't believe I wasn't already following this. I am a grumpy sysadmin.
Exactly.
And this one, coming from Metrobyte, is going to help me in my approach, which a lot of people aren't familiar with, but LTSC, long-term service contracts, they've been around for a long time. eh, Networks that didn't want to leave XP
Yep.
as Vista and all that garbage was coming out, a lot of them depended on these long-term service contracts to make sure that their networks were still up and running for a decade later. And
Yep.
um, with this approach, you will get patch updates and support for another 6 years. So the writing may be on the wall, but it's going to take some time before it's completely no longer updated.
Right.
And
And that's the thing.
this screen, I have seen the
Yeah.
future. And it looks like the past.
Yeah. Yeah. A very bad time in the past.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least there's no actual blue screen in there, so
Sure.
we've come a long way, baby.
We didn't nuke the whole system.
So after we, get our feelings out about what's going on with Microsoft, there's a couple of little pieces of gear that I came across. Behringer has been doing some really awesome things with mini synthesizers. They're kind of going back to the past, and they're rebuilding some of the most classic of the like retro synths of the 80s. And when I saw this one, my first keyboard was a Casio CZ5000,
Yep.
and I saw this and I'm like, wow, Behringer is going to bring back my Casio CZ engine. I
Nice.
would pay for this to get my string sound that I used to have back in the 80s. It was the best synthesizer string sound I ever had. And
Nice.
Behringer is a brand that I trust. If I'm gonna go and buy me a cool retro synth, they're solid.
Sure.
And
And it's
that one's go
cute.
yeah, it's coming straight from the source. It's coming from the Behringer mothership. So
Nice.
the information details are gonna be solid. And
For sure.
I couldn't ignore this one because I've been a Roland guy forever, going back to the early 90s. And there were a few times where I almost went to the Yamaha side. The Motif keyboard, I
Yeah.
came real close, especially when it first came out. It was like, damn, this does things that the Roland that I have didn't do. And this one, over the last like couple of weeks, been seeing it pop up in our channel. A lot of keyboardists out there have been like, dude, Yamaha's got something really cool here. And looking at some of the features just from the actual keyboard itself, this thing can compete with my Phantom
Yeah.
very
I wouldn't
well.
doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it.
And hearing the sounds on it, I was like, ooh, Yamaha might have finally got something right for for me.
Now that's not a full 88, is it?
No, this is their M7. This is their 76 key, but
Okay.
you know me, if I was gonna go to the dark side of Yamaha,
You'd
my
go
ass is
88.
getting that 88 key.
Exactly.
Plus, I like that they incorporated the DX into the name, because if there's one synth from Yamaha that always resonated with me, it was the DX
Yeah,
series.
for sure. We would see that on, you go to a jam or something, someone's got the DX. Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy Luder, he's getting rid of his, and he's offered it to me. He's going to be moving to Florida, and they're cleaning house, and I may have a DX7 on
Nice.
my rack next month.
Very cool. That's
And
the way
then
to do it.
to finish off, this is a unique little gadget here. We've looked in the past at different ways to like approach your headphones, and whether you're using really expensive headphones or cheap ones, being able to calibrate the different types of headphones and get consistent sound for mixing. I've looked at a couple of different approaches, even a VST one. Snave has these headphones that actually come with a VST plugin, and you can incorporate what you're hearing in your headphones into your DAW and your mix, which I love it, but that's a $400+ solution, and I like the idea of something a little cheaper.
Sure.
And it's tiny, but what this does some really cool things no matter what style headphones. They support every type of headphone. They even have profiles for all the different brands that are out there, which that's dedication that this company is doing to make headphones sound better.
Right. And
That's
like you
going to
said, it's
be
a tiny device.
yeah, and we've been to Reed Stefan's channel. You'll remember it when you see the Muppet.
Nice.
We're gonna get a demo from a Muppet.
That's the way to do it.
And I'm really curious to hear, what uh, something like this, the difference it can make when I got like 10 pairs of headphones here. I would love to make some of them useful again.
Remind me to have you look up something later, the wow thing, something we'll look up later.
Oh, well, you're not talking the wow signal, right? From that Atlas, because
This is a small hardware device that you take your 1/8 inch from wherever, you plug it in, and then you come out from there, and you can dial in how much more bass and how much more space, audio space you want to make the sound have, and it just makes anything you're listening to sound bigger or more full or more bass. So like if I'm listening to something that was recorded and like the bass is all missing, it seems like it's just scooped out, or it's not represented in the recording, I can play it through this thing and crank up the bass on it and really get a full listen. So that's how I would be
yeah,
able to
and
learn
I
bass
think
sounds and
that's
things.
kind of the gist of this is that it'll bring in dynamics that
Yeah,
your cheap headphones might not have. And
exactly.
yes, we were wild. Uh, it is just a Casio CZ clone, but that statement, if you've ever owned a CZ, I had the big one through
I
the
had the
90s.
CZ1 back then. Yeah.
And I actually got a one and a 101 afterwards when the 5000 got retired. I didn't want to lose those CZ sounds, so I went and bought a 101, nice little mini version, put that on top of my Roland, and that's where I got my strings.
There you go. Gotta have the strings.
Oh, and yes, I wouldn't kick a cord out of bed if somebody wants to buy one for me. The Korg M1 was almost my go-to in the 90s. I just couldn't get away from Roland.
Yeah, it's tough.
And yeah, those Yamaha PSRs, they're workhorses.
Yeah, Yamaha's are good too.
Oh, and we were wild knows about this wow thing you were talking about.
Nice.
He says it's cool, so I'm gonna take his word for it.
I have it
So
over there. I haven't hooked it up in a while, but I had it over there for when I was trying to hear and learn songs on bass, and I couldn't hear enough bass in a recording or whatever. I could use that and just, all right, let me just plug this in and, and dial it in.
yes, a learning tool.
Yep.
So to start, we're gonna go to the prime time. This is a freshy channel for us. Nice to get some IT channels.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
we do an IT show.
Yeah,
It,
exactly.
tends to be with about music, but at the same time, this situation does affect musicians.
Yeah.
There's as many Windows music machines out there. I got three of them in front of me right now, as there are Mac machines, and the change we're about to go through um, with Windows. The last time musically that it was this big of a deal was Windows 7, as the whole XP like drivers and architecture got screwed up by Vista. And when Windows 7 came out, finally, if you were going to upgrade your music studio, this was the operating system that for almost a decade was my driving operating system
Yep.
until 10, when Cakewalk, I want to say 2012, 13, um, Cakewalk started to shy away from 32-bit, and it started to become necessary to have 64-bit. And granted, you could use Windows 7 with 64-bit, but it was wonky. With Windows 10, you finally kind of had to move to the 64-bit world. Some of the software was requiring it at that point. The
Yeah.
hardware drivers for the audio cards were requiring it. And what we're going to see as Windows 12 starts to come out, the same kind of subsystem when it comes to audio is changing. And it's going to require new drivers. The
Yep.
manufacturers are going to need to make new drivers specifically for Windows 12, which means for studios and musicians, you may not want to just go jump on it if you've got a project that you need to finish and you don't know whether it's going to work after you upgrade.
Yeah. And that's also where, if you're in a situation like you are, where you have multiple machines around, it would also be good to upgrade a machine and test things on that machine and see how things
And
work with that machine.
and that is going to be my slow approach. And like you said, virtual machines, I don't need to change this Windows 10 machine. I can put 11 and 12 as a virtual machine. Not going to record necessarily with the virtual machine, but I can at least test it and see if the gear is playing nice with it virtually. If it can work virtually, then converting it physically is just an extra step.
hmm That would be interesting because I've never tried to put a newer operating system in a virtual machine. I've always
Oh,
gone with
I
older
I
ones.
do that. I do that all the time. Like
Yeah.
anytime there's a new version of Windows that I'm not sure I want to jump on, it is the virtual machines where you want to test them because Microsoft has been known to throw a dud out there
Oh
every
yeah.
now and
And that's why in most of the cases that we were dealing with, we were trying to deal with you rescuing old machines or finding how far along we had to pull a machine in order to get something working, or keep something working from old legacy hardware, that
And
kind of thing.
one of the good things when it came to Windows 10, especially when it's optimized, um, it can actually run better on an older machine than, say, the Windows 7 that the machine was originally designed for.
Mhm.
7 was kind of bloated. I mean, it had more demand
Mhm.
on the graphic interface than 10 did. 10 actually lightened the load a little bit there. The big problem was Microsoft added a ton of services and
Mhm.
what they continue to do. More shit running in the background that I don't necessarily want running, and I don't want notifications about everything while I'm in the middle of recording. So
Yep.
please, Glenn from Spectre had the
Mhm.
best suggestion, which would be I'm installing my Windows and it's asking me, like, what are you going to use this computer for? If I say, hey, Microsoft, I'm going to use this as a recording studio computer,
Mhm.
turn off a bunch of services that serve no purpose in that world and at least let me just quickly get an optimized machine to be a workstation.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I agree, but at the same time, I think a lot of those services are there to do things for them, whether it's advertising things
Uh,
or,
uh,
and things that they don't want to give up. So, yeah.
I mean, some of those services, they're legit network discovery,
Mhm.
and some of those services serve a purpose to the functionality of networking and things. You don't necessarily want to turn off like network discovery if you do need to talk to other computers in your network.
Mhm.
But if this is an isolated studio machine that doesn't need to talk to anything, shit, turn off network discovery, disable the Wi-Fi because that gets in the way on music machines all the time.
Yep.
Turn off everything you don't need so that if you do run into a problem, you're not having to figure out whether it's that garbage or the thing that you're actually trying to use.
Yeah, you're trying to streamline the machine as much as possible. And the idea is that the machine is not a general purpose everyday machine. This is streamlined for being a music machine. Yeah.
And Wild is right about some of these things. Yeah, the the changes in CPU. I mean, we have come a long way, and oh, and he's moving to Ardor, huh? Yeah, that's been one I've looked at too. On the music side, that's a popular one, and that's one you can happily test in a virtual machine. See if it's your cup of tea without like hosing your Windows machine. And if you do like the results, you can actually use one of your older machines and get a lot of bang out of your buck for a Linux operating system.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, some of the things that you were talking about before that you would use Linux for, some of the services, you could even use something like a Raspberry Pi for some of that stuff. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's things that you can get away with using a very small, cheap device that has no overhead at all because it's just specifically for that purpose.
Yeah, Pi can make a great firewall or
Mhm.
a gaming emulator if you do it right.
They were trying
And
to use it for NAS, network attached storage at some point too.
oh,
Just,
I have.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up going back to Windows Server. My
Yep.
media server is a Windows server.
Hmm.
Screw the commercial Windows there. You need a good file system. And Wild, it is the VST part that has always slowed me down with going with Linux. Yes, you can get Windows VSTs to work in the Linux environment, going through Wine and emulating Windows in order to do it, but the your mileage varies based on the plugin, the hardware that you're dealing with, and the reliability of trying to use something that wasn't designed to run in that environment. I really like my plugins to be super, super stable. So as long as there are proprietary Windows or Mac plugins, then I'll probably have a proprietary operating system for those plugins.
Yep.
But I would love to see in the future plugin developers seriously consider developing uh, over on the Linux side. The only reason why you don't see a VST infrastructure there is because the same reason they don't always make a Mac version. The programmers don't want to have to reinvent the wheel when they already invented it in one area.
Yeah. Or they tried and are having problems with it and can't release it. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, it doesn't always mean that they didn't even try. Like some cases you see, oh, it came out on Windows, but it doesn't support Mac. It doesn't necessarily mean they didn't, do that. It means that they tried everything they could and couldn't get it there is another way it could work.
Yeah, and dual booting is another great
Yeah.
option. Matter of fact, in the 90s and most of the early 2000s, that was the way I tested everything because I did want to test it physically. VMs weren't there yet. And of course, you can run multiple operators. You have to reboot, you have to select it, but you can really test it on the physical machine. I don't dual boot like I used to because I used to. Any machine I had up until 2005 probably had multiple boot up options. Once VMs kind of came into the picture, and I was the VM admin at our company, so I got in like right at the beginning with VMware. I was like, damn, I don't need to dual boot anymore. I can run 10 operating systems
Yep.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Not that you should,
No,
but
no.
you can.
Don't do it like Windows browser tabs. No, no.
Well, what's nice there is you can really optimize what you have for equipment. With VMs, you allocate that RAM, you allocate the amount of CPU. So in the old days, especially going back to like NT4, a lot of computer resource was getting wasted. I had people who were like, "Oh, I got dual CPUs. That didn't even matter when NT4 first came out. It couldn't support multiple CPUs. It took them a couple of updates before, yay, my second CPU is actually being utilized. And now we take for granted like multi-threading and multi-core, and but again, a lot of that resource goes to waste if it's not allocated properly. And with VMs, you can say, hey, I got a Windows running in here that's using 8 gigs of RAM and 2 CPUs, and it's doing exactly what it needs to do with just that. And my main operating system is happy with the rest. And that's how you carve up the resource cake.
Yep. And don't run that hard drive out.
Yeah.
You get
Oh,
problems.
I see. Wild has had some experience. Yeah, Steinberg. If you're talking like 2008, when we were going from VST2 and VST3 was becoming the standard, and Steinberg was responsible for a lot of that. But when VST3 like really settled in, and it was no longer just Steinberg driving that technology, we've reached a point where like the standard is being controlled by the industry now, which I like that a lot better. I don't like standards like VST to be all under one company and technology and approach.
Yeah. Usually request for comments, RFC, and figure out and get everybody on board.
Yeah, it'd be like everybody running on Internet Explorer. No,
Oh,
I don't
please,
want
please no.
to. What hell world did we
Oof.
go into?
Mhm.
So for this opening video, the prime time again, at the prime time, again, um, he's going to talk about how basically Microsoft and Apple may just be creating the year of Linux here with what's going on. And a big thing that kicked this in for him and for some of these other videos we're going to see here is what Microsoft's done in the last couple of weeks. They've gotten rid of the local user account there. It's not to say they've gotten rid of the local user account, but they're starting to disable the the installation approach that many users like me, I do not want to use a Microsoft account to log into my computers. These computers are mine, they're in my room, and the accounts that I log in with, they're local. That way, if the internet's not there, which sometimes it's not for me, I don't have a problem logging into my machines because my authentication, I created the account, not them. And I don't need to connect to a cloud to get into my computer. Many admins right now in the last couple of weeks have been screaming bloody murder over what Microsoft is doing at the moment. And I hope Microsoft sees that writing on the wall. They may lose their hold on the corporate computer if they're going to force corporations to have their users use Microsoft accounts to do their work all day in that office. There's a lot of admins out there that are going to be like, boss, um, we are moving to Linux because these workers don't need that. And this operating system is no longer a benefit to supporting.
Yeah. They do look at it financially, though, also, and that is a big move.
Yeah. Hey, Linux could have become relevant in the early 2000s. There was an opportunity there after the Internet Explorer fiasco, and again, Microsoft doing what they did with Vista after XP. The fact that we didn't migrate, or at least more people didn't migrate to Linux at that time, that was an opportunity. Now, this is a bigger excuse and a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what he says here about how Apple and Microsoft may be the best friend Linux could have asked for.
Right.
It is the 2025th year of our Lord, and it just might be the Linux desktop year. I could have also named this video, Microsoft Thinks You're Too Stupid, or I could have named this video, Apple is Incapable. All would have equally done well, and they all are leading to the fact that it actually might be the year of the Linux desktop. Microsoft is plugging more holes that let you use Windows 11 without an online account. So what does that mean? It simply means that if you want to use Windows 11 now, when you start up a PC, you got to be signed into Microsoft Live. Oh, it used to be known as Hotmail. By the way, that was my first account, Primeagen@hotmail.com. It's still out there. It's still a thing. It's just I made it when I was like in 5th grade or something. So yes, Microsoft wants you to use that service to log into your PC. The thing that's actually making everybody super upset at Microsoft is this right here, is what Amanda said, okay? Get ready. We are removing known mechanisms for creating a local account in the Windows setup experience, OOBE. What is an OOBE? Best left up to the readers. I assume it means out-of-box experience, but I don't know. None of those letters showed up in whatever she just said, so I have no idea, Amanda. While these mechanisms were often used to bypass Microsoft account setup, they also inadvertently skipped critical screens, potentially causing users to exit OOBE with a device that is not fully configured to use. So what is she saying here? I just want you to think about this for a second. Just if you were at your job and there was a way that your customers used your product, and if they used that product in this kind of power feature mode, something that allowed them a bit more autonomy, but they could potentially hurt themselves, would you A, fix the reasons why they could hurt themselves and ensure that the experience is properly gone through, whether they have a live account or more of this power offline account? Or B, would you just take away the feature? Well, Microsoft has chosen to simply take away the feature and then blame it on the fact that you're too stupid to understand what's going on. Okay? They're like, whoa, we can't give all these people all these privileges, because if we do, they're going to accidentally mess something up, and then they're going to be in a sad, sorry state. This is actually such just a crazy way to respond to a situation. Because you know what the real news is, right? You know why this is happening. Now, I already know for a fact I'm going to get a bunch of comments, and people are going to be like, well, actually, you can disable it. Actually, you could disable I don't care that you can disable it, okay? It is the default. It is what is on currently, and you know what that means, especially when it comes to Microsoft. It will not just be the default. It will be the only way to go at some point here in the future. So, number one, Copilot, taking snapshots, being able to semantically search all of your history. If you don't think that's going to be used as a way for Microsoft to make money, you don't understand quarterly reports. And then number two, they're already serving you ads in the startup menu. Think about this for a second. You buy the hardware. You buy the hardware from a company that licenses the hardware along with Windows. So you get it all together in one package so you don't have to install it yourself. It's easy. It's simple, right? Wrong. You don't actually own it for whatever reason. Instead, they can serve you ads through the thing that you bought. Like, it's actually insane. Now, right now, I already know there's going to be a comment, okay? It's gonna read something like this. Well, Netflix, okay, hey, first off, we're not talking about Netflix, okay? Let's not whataboutism, people, okay? We're not doing that. Second, can we just agree that this is weird behavior? You know what this is for. They want everyone to have an account. They want everyone to be online. They want everything to run through that because they want to sell you ads, because ads are the future. Ads and AI, and even better, ads made with AI. That's right. We're going to burn down a forest so we could show a custom image of your mom selling you a product. Damn, the future's going to be good. So this is naturally leading people like Jonathan Blow to say, guys, this just means we'll stop using Windows for as many things as possible. If you think that's not true, just keep going. And he is right. People are hating more and more on Windows, which is wild because Windows has such a market share on gaming, and somehow they're continuously fumbling the bag, and everybody cannot wait for Steam to get closer and closer to making gaming on Linux the greatest and best experience. And all of this has happened over the last year, which has led many, many people to just dislike the Windows experience. It is chunky. It feels laggy. It's not a good experience. It feels unreliable. And now you're getting ads. Now you can't have offline accounts. This is pushing people towards Linux or Mac. And this is why this video, I want to call it the year of the Linux desktop, because it just seems like every other option is trash. Look at this. This is Apple. This is Apple's new calculator. They released this operating system for people to use. OS X 26 Tahoe, that sweet California edition, and it came bloated AF. Calculator using 32 gigabytes of RAM, baby. A company famed for its ability to design amazing interfaces gave you this. Yes, look. I mean, you could have at least aligned the delete. This is just shoddy work. In fact, it's so bad, I'm positive that an LLM did not contribute to this because it is actually that bad. You like rounded corners? Did you like web development in about 2009? Yeah, this is what we're getting. Just every button is going to be rounded AF. You want a rounded corner on a rounded corner? Welcome to Mac OS X 26. I was right on that. I was right on this one. I am right on that one still. I think the sad part is that Apple, like when I used it as a developer 2011 through 2016, it honestly was like really amazing. It was a very good experience. From 2016 to about now, I've been using Linux. And those first few years, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't have the greatest experience, but I used it anyways because I just didn't want to use anything else. You know, I just forced myself to use it and love it and fall in love with it. And that's that. But Mac has always been this thing where developers have universally tended to agree that you get this out of the box, pretty smooth experience, and that's why we use it, okay? We don't want to be fiddling around with stuff. But here's the thing is I actually think people like personalizing what they use. They actually like being able to create something that is their own. And yes, I understand that the pressures of life and the pressures of stuff make it so that customizing everything can be a headache. And that is why Omachi right here is so good. If you have not used it, I got the privilege to use it on a brand new out-of-the-box framework PC on a 7-day, 24/7 programming adventure just last week, and it was honestly an amazing experience. All the shortcut keys mimicked Mac OS X, kind of hurt me a little bit, like full screen being Shift F11, but I could also just change it to what the Lord intended, which was super F. Okay, that's the correct one, is the F. Okay, it's Mod F. It's not Shift F11. That's crazy. Okay, I don't want that in my life. And there's a bunch of other key combos that I would inevitably change because it's not the way I want to do it. And the NeoVim experience is not the way I want to do it, but I've already created all these. I can just bring in what I like and just morph it into it. But out of the box, Omachi feels good. I don't know how to explain this other than if you are using Mac OS X, or even more so, if you are using Windows, if you were to go off and use Hyperland, how it's been set up with Omachi, you would be shocked at how good it feels. Now, this is my previous computer, so it actually has my personalized version of Hyperland. It doesn't have Omachi installed, but it also has Waybar, the same thing that's in Omachi, which is you can see which desktop I'm in. You can see the nice time and the date. You can see the power, the volume, what I'm doing on my CPU, how much RAM units I'm using, which I'm using entirely too much RAM units. If I'm connected to the internets, what my CPUs are doing, which is I'm not doing a lot with my CPUs right now, but you can just see so much and it feels so good, and it's just been set up exactly the way I want it to be set up. And this truly is the magic, and honestly, when it comes to Omachi, all of this is just set up for you. You don't do any configuration, but you got to learn. You got to take a little bit of time. So when I say that this is the year of the Linux desktop, what I mean is that there has never been a better time for you to make the switch. Mac has clearly lost the ability to deliver good UIs. The reason why I want to use them is good UIs and battery power. Now it's just a battery. Now you're buying an expensive ass battery, and that is it. You can get the same thing feeling just as crispy smooth, and in fact looking better for much, much less the cost than buying a nice battery. That is it. That's what you're getting. Windows, I don't even need to defend it, okay? It's not good. It is chunky. It is slow. It is just irredeemable what they have done to it. It honestly feels like a GeoCities website morphed into an operating system. That is what it feels like. It is awful. Okay, I hate the fact that for the last year and a half, every time I start up my streaming PC, because I have hardware that depends on Windows, which I'm going to replace because of this, but when I start it up, it requires me to say, No, I don't want to upgrade my account to some sort of subscription model. Every single time. There's only remind me later and yes, please. There's no, hey, shut the hell up. I never want to see this again. Yet with Linux, it's freedom, baby. And I think that it just might be the year of the Linux desktop. And when I say that, of course, I do mean for developers. I don't think my mom's probably ever going to learn Linux. I don't think she's going to do well with a tiling window manager. I don't think she's going to be like, I got to go to my code. I got to go back to my browser, code, browser, whatever this one is, back to the, oh my gosh. But she's just not, that's not her mode, okay? She has like 9,000 tabs open. She exists in Chrome, and she still hates Windows. So it's never been a better time, and I strongly encourage you to try it. If none of that convinces you, this has to convince you. Tej was able to get it installed in 1 minute and 48 seconds. That means he went from just a BIOS screen to logging in and having everything done in about 2 minutes and 10 seconds total. It doesn't take a lot to give it a shot, and it works on older PCs, and it will actually make them feel smooth. At the end of the day, you know, this is all about just enjoying what you're building, and then part of your environment is going to be part of your joy. If you're working in a very beautiful, well put together, very smooth experience, you're going to enjoy it. Thus, you're going to have more fun developing anyways. Because honestly, let's be real. Between the times of saying curse or fix this and surfing Twitter, you just want something to look nice. So why don't you just give it a shot? The name is the Primogen. By the way, did you like the video? You should like it. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you.
Oh, I did like it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I thumbed it up.
Just like that.
Yes, and I like this channel. I'm glad we are looking at some actual IT. He knows his shit, and I feel the same way he does about this whole situation. I know Linux isn't gonna like ever take the world by storm the way like both of us would like to see it. But when it comes to the moms and the ones who do go to different people have adapted to mobile operating systems, and Android is like a flavor of Linux, and it it's about what they can get used to, the convenience, what they're using it for. If they are just like reading emails, my mom doesn't need that Microsoft Surface that she's using to read emails. She does that on her phone very happily.
Yep. It's all about what you're using it for.
And it is the developers who, of course, are going to fuel operating system like this. You got to have developers making things for these operating systems in order for people to want to use them. And I think the more that gets developed there and the easier it gets, the possibility gets bigger that now people getting pissed off, like, I don't want to use a local Microsoft account or an Apple account in order to just use a computer. Some of them may migrate to that freedom.
Yep. Freedom.
I want to be free. But he really did sum up like my initial emotions the last couple weeks as I've seen these Ubi features being pulled out and Microsoft acting like we can do this. We're Microsoft. No, you can try to do it, but I don't like it, and you might just convert a long-time Microsoft user to get the hell out of Dodge with the approach they're taking right now.
Yeah. Not everybody will like it for sure.
Yes, that's why we have the grumpy sysadmin.
Exactly.
Because that's what I'm going to be if I had to deal with the networks that I used to have to deal with this kind of scenario, and considering how much money like the companies that I was doing it, how much money we spent on Microsoft's products, tens of millions of dollars invested every year into Microsoft technologies, they would not be getting away with what they're doing if I had to admin at that level.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we're going to meet the grumpy sysadmin. I love his channel name. I would totally want that for a channel too. But he
He's got to
comes
be
up with
grumpier all the time.
Well, it reminds me of Glenn over at Spectre. Like
Yep.
he was the pissed off metalhead.
Exactly.
And I like that approach sometimes when they cover like, the things that like grinds your gears. Microsoft has a list of them.
Yep. True.
So he's at the grumpy sysadmin over on YouTube, and what he's saying here is what I've been seeing across the YouTube sysadmins who have been reacting to this. They're all saying the same thing. Microsoft is killing. Microsoft is killing this. Microsoft is killing that. Glenn said Microsoft's going to kill your studio. Like that was the title of his. And I think for those of us who are going to have to make decisions as to how much we're going to take from Microsoft at this point, he addresses it. October 14th. We're already past it.
Just barely.
Fall is here, which means pumpkin spice lattes, football, and of course another Windows update. And this year, we get Windows 11 25H2, the update that Microsoft swears isn't a big deal. But in reality, it decides if your PC keeps getting updates or gets shoved onto the scrap heap. And yeah, Windows 10 users, I'm looking right at you. They're calling it not a major update, but if you don't install it, you're done. So tell me again, how is that not major, Microsoft? Here's the deal. If you're already on 24H2, the upgrade to 25H2 is light and fast. Microsoft calls it an enablement package. Translation, flip a switch, reboot once, and you're done. No marathon installs. But if you're still hanging out on anything other than 24H2, you're in for the long, painful reinstall, the full OS upgrade that eats up your afternoon. And for the record, the ISO file for 25H2 is actually a gigabyte bigger than 24H2. Not a major update, huh? Yeah, sure, Microsoft. Now, technically, 25H2 is available right now, but you might not see it yet in Windows Update. Why? Because Microsoft loves to roll things out slowly in phases, kind of like a restaurant serving one French fry at a time. Official broad availability? October 14th, 2025. And if that date sounds familiar, it's the same day that Windows 10 gets the axe. Coincidence? Yeah, right. Don't want to wait? You can grab the ISO and install it yourself. But remember, full installs are slower, clunkier, and just more annoying. Have fun. So what's actually new? Let's be real, Microsoft has been hyping 25H2 as an enabling and stabilizing update. Internet reviewers call it the most boring update ever, and honestly, they're not wrong. Still, there are a few things you need to know. Here's a new feature rundown. Wi-Fi 7 support. Enterprise-grade access points, faster speeds, and more reliable connections. Translations, if you're lucky enough to own gear that costs as much as a mortgage payment, Windows 11 is ready. Accessibility, new Braille viewer, better screen reader performance, tweaks to make the OS less of a nightmare for the visually impaired users. Genuinely good stuff here. OOBE improvements. Windows can now install cumulative updates during setup instead of after. Great. Now Windows nags you before you even get to the desktop. RIP legacy tools. PowerShell 2.0 and WMIC are gone. Most of you won't care, but if your dusty old script relied upon them, too bad. System hardening. Microsoft is using AI to spot vulnerabilities before hackers do. Think of better locks on the doors, because apparently the old ones were duct tape. Driver and hardware checks. Stricter enforcement, likely fallout from the massive CrowdStrike meltdown earlier this year. Performance and optimization, faster cloud file launching, snappier context menus, less sluggish UI. Well, it's about time. UI tweaks, settings and app steals more turf from control panel. Rest in peace, my old friend. New context menus, action tags, exciting? Emoji 16.0 support, yippee, because what we all wanted was more emojis. On-screen indicators for brightness, volume, etc. moved around. Game bar overlay performance improvements. Gamers rejoice, slightly less lag on your lag. The hidden stuff Microsoft didn't tell you. Now here's the fun part. The stuff Microsoft didn't exactly brag about in their announcement. First off, 25H2 silently adds new background processes tied to Copilot in the so-called AI framework. Even if you don't use Copilot, it's there, eating RAM, hanging out in Task Manager like an uninvited guest. Then there's the service module alignment thing. It sounds boring, but it's a quiet restructuring under the hood so Microsoft can push new AI-driven features anytime they want, even when you think you're fully updated. Translation? You'll wake up one morning and Windows will suddenly have a new button, a new setting, or a new privacy policy you didn't ask for. Oh, and by the way, remember when Windows used to show you what's being installed during updates? Yeah, that's mostly gone. Now it's just working on updates. Please keep your computer on. Great. Thanks for the mystery, Microsoft. And that's why I always say, with every security update, you're not just patching holes, you're handing Microsoft another door key. So yeah, Microsoft calls this boring, but if you ignore it, you lose support. Nothing says exciting like forced updates, right? Let's talk about your upgrade paths. If you're already on 24H2, easy street. One quick update, one reboot, and you're done. If you're still on Windows 10 or anything older, enjoy a full reinstall, possibly 2 hops, for example, to 24H2 and then to 25H2. That's your punishment for being behind. And yes, the official ISO download has already been swapped to 25H2, so if you grab it now, that's what you're getting. Here's what to watch out for. Here's where things can get messy. Drivers may lag. Don't freak out if something doesn't work right away. Lagging scripts relying upon PowerShell 2.0 or WMIC, well, those will be broken. Some apps may misbehave until third-party developers update them. Not every feature flips on instantly. Microsoft likes A/B testing, meaning your buddy might get something that you don't. Why you might actually want this update. Alright, I'll give credit where it's due. There are a few reasons 25H2 might actually be worth installing. First, it's stable. Seriously. Unlike some previous releases that turns people's PCs into decorative paperweights, this one's been pretty smooth in testing. Second, performance bumps. It's not night and day, but it's noticeable. File Explorer feels less like molasses, the taskbar behaves better, and even older SSDs seems to get a little pep in their step. And third, this one's for the tinkerers. It's the cleanest base yet for stripping Windows down. If you're into de-bloating, customizing, or making Windows behave like Windows 7 again, 25H2 gives you a great starting point. Just don't thank Microsoft for it. It's probably an accident. Look, it's Windows. There will be failures. Somebody out there is going to brick their PC with his update. Don't let it be you. Back up your data. Multiple copies, multiple drives, multiple locations. You can't stop Microsoft from screwing up, but you can control your backups. And finally, the question everyone's been waiting for. Does 25H2 block the bypass methods for unsupported hardware? Short answer, nope. Everything I tested still works. Rufus, Flyby, answer files, all fine. Secure boot UEFI checks, still bypassable. Only catch if your CPU still needs SSE 4.2 and POP-CNT, the same as before. So yes, you can keep riding the unsupported hardware train a little longer. Just don't expect Microsoft to advertise that part. My personal prediction for Windows 12. Here's my take. 25H2 isn't really about Windows 11 anymore. It's setting the stage for Windows 12. Microsoft's quietly lining everything up. Copilot, AI integration, tighter security, and new hardware baselines. They're rebuilding the foundation so Windows 12 can slide right in. And this time, it's not about selling you Windows itself, it's about selling you through Windows. See, they don't need to charge you for the upgrade anymore. They make their money by turning Windows into a subscription funnel. Microsoft 365, OneDrive, Copilot Plus, Cloud Sync, ads in the start menu, all of it. The operating system is the product now. So yeah, 25H2 may look boring, but it's the setup for Microsoft's next big move, turning Windows from software into a service you never stop paying for. And that's why I'm paying attention, because the boring updates, they're always the ones that quietly change everything. Bottom line, 25H2 is the boring update that isn't optional. Install it, stay supported, and prepare for Microsoft to keep making Windows less yours and more theirs. Because the only thing predictable about Windows updates is that they're never really optional. So what are you going to do? Are you going to jump on the 25H2 bandwagon and update right away? Or are you going to sit and wait with a bucket of popcorn and watch the post-update crash show? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And hey, before I forget, if you like getting the real truth about Windows updates without the corporate fluff, hit subscribe. It's free and it helps the channel grow, and it makes sure you don't miss the next time Microsoft tries to pull a fast one. As I always say, back up your stuff, stay safe, and of course, stay grumpy.
Grumpy.
I did subscribe. And there's popcorn?
Yeah. Always popcorn.
Yes, I'm going to need some while I wait for that Windows 12, which I know that's going to be a relevant Windows. You know, every other Windows tends to be. So 7 was awesome, 10 was awesome, and I figure 12 will solve something. I don't like this idea of utilizing the operating system to sell me more than I'm already getting sold by Google and YouTube and now at the operating system level.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of that either. And that's where, like you were saying, if you could opt to say, hey, it's a music machine, I want all that stuff turned off, that would be great. But then that's, taking away their entire reason for giving you the
I
new operating system.
understand that they can give you the operating system now. They don't have to charge you for it because that's how they're paying for the development of it. But I would actually pay $100, like old school days. Here's my $100. Give me a Windows key and do not give me anything else. I just need this operating system so I
Just
can
stay the
actually.
heck out of my way.
It's supposed to be a calculator. I don't need advertisements.
And I don't need it to be 32 gigs of RAM either. And there's nothing that complicated to calculate.
Well, as a sampler user in the music world, 32 gigs is my minimal.
For a calculator? To try to times this times that?
That's holding big ass samples. Some of those piano samples are like 6 to 7 gigs for one layer of sound.
Yeah. That gets very, very large very quickly.
Yes. And I don't want to pay a lot for this muffler.
No. Definitely not.
That was another nice IT Freshie channel, the Grumpy Sysadmin.
I like it.
Yes. I do love my tech channels. These are the ones that on my regular YouTube, you'll see all over my suggestions.
Exactly.
Oh, and this screen, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I feel like I have PTSD. When it's like Windows 3.1, Windows XP. I see.
Looks like an NT message in the top right.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the ones that don't have that like nice colorful window. He really did grab from like every Windows in the last 15 years. Somewhere's in there is a Windows ME. window that nobody recognizes.
Like, what is that? Oh, that was the purple one, right? No.
That was the biggest. You could find the biggest suckers that year were the ones who were running on Windows ME, and they almost all had the same reason why they were. It came with their machine, and they
Was it a
could never.
Gateway or was it a Dell?
Yeah, well, dude, I thought I was getting a Dell, but
Yeah.
it might have even been one of those E machines.
No,
With the
thank you.
with the non-standard Sound Blaster cards that like you couldn't just go use normal Sound Blaster drivers. It was a Sound Blaster, but
It was a found blaster.
yeah, I had to actually extract the drivers from remember those soft packs
Oh, yeah.
that who was it that HP bought and the
There
soft
was
pack system
HP and
came with them.
Compaq and
Compact, yeah.
the thing was like, and that the funniest thing about that whole thing to me was the way that originally Compaq always had orange for the keyboard cable and green for the mouse, right? So then it went to the HP and it was purple for the keyboard. It's just like, it's such a minor thing, but it's like they had to go with their own, you know?
Well,
It's like, that's the way we do it here.
even with color coding, you know how many people I've had to tell don't plug the pink cable into the green plug. It's gonna do
Yes, I
weird
know it
shit.
fits there. No, that doesn't mean it's okay.
As long as you're not using your CD-ROM as a coffee holder, then
Yes,
I
we've
can
seen that
take you
too.
serious.
The cup holder. This is broken.
So
I hate
this one is probably going to be the solution I'm going to take with my music machines. At least one of them, the one that I want to make sure is patched and it is connected to the network in a way that I would like to continue to get security patches. And with LTSC contracts, long-term service contracts, these been around for a long time. And when you connect that way, you will get an additional 6 years of patching and updating for Windows 10.
Nice. Now, is that
And
something that they're still doing now, new, or was that something that you had to get in on before a certain cutoff?
it's something that you have to upgrade your current copy of Windows to connect under this channel. You know, it's kind of like being on Linux and you decide your distro updates and whether you're getting them from like the official Red Hat distros or whether you're getting the development betas and this is a channel that's going to continue to keep an eye on Windows 10 because there's at least another 6 years of shelf life on this operating system.
Right.
I I
As of now.
I don't see needing Windows 12. All those features sound cool. Maybe my future machines might need that upgrade, but these music machines and the equipment that I'm plugging into them, the drivers that I'm using on my Roland are actually modified Windows 7 drivers that had that additional driver verification that Windows 10 did. When I install my driver, I have to boot up and hit F8 and go into driver validation, that signature validation bullshit.
Sure.
The only way I can use that Windows 7 modified Windows 10 driver for my keyboard is to disable driver signing, and they're telling me they're going to make it even worse.
They're going to take away your workaround.
Yeah. If they don't realize that their market is in the workstations and the gamers, like that guy pointed out, like Steam is like biting on their coats there, saying we're going to build a better gaming environment that people who don't want to deal with a computer and just want to use it as a gaming machine don't need to live with these operating systems.
Yeah. Got to give the people choices, man.
Yes. And if I need to type up a document, I really don't need to live with it either. If that's as simple as my computer usage is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
so let's see the old error messages.
Here we're going to actually get to do a walk along. So you will see the process of upgrading to this support channel. You can do it with your current version of Windows 10, but depending on the version difference, the mileage may vary. So I like actually getting to see someone else do it before I fuck my machine up.
Yep.
But we should get 6 more years life out of it now.
Mm-hmm. Let's check it out.
So you know how Windows 10 is going out of support in like days? Oh, you don't know that? Well, you're in for a surprise, I guess, because support for Windows 10 ends on October 14th. That means no more security updates to protect you from whatever that is that you're doing. What are you doing? Yeah, better get ready to enjoy Windows 11 with its more intrusive spyware, integrated AI slop generators, worse context menus, lack of customization, and more. Unless there was a way to avoid all of that. What if we could just stay on good old Windows 10? I mean, yeah, you could just do that, but you won't get any security updates like I said earlier. Well, there is a version of Windows 10 that is supported for much longer. It's called Windows 10 LTSC, meaning Long-Term Servicing Channel. That channel gives us security updates all the way up until 2032 if you pick the right version. But Jace, that's just another Windows version to have to install. That's annoying. I don't want to deal with losing all my settings. Shh, it's gonna be okay. Because there is supposedly a way to convert your regular Windows 10 install to this Windows LTSC with what appears basically no effort. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I should say that this is not really a tutorial, but you might be able to follow this one. I'm not a tutorial maker. This is a come along and see if it works thing. So I'm doing this on my Acer laptop that I Hackintoshed a few months ago. It runs Windows 10 Home right now, and I don't even think its terrible dual-core processor will be able to handle 11. By the way, the Hackintosh did not survive very long. One day I booted it up and OpenCore just wasn't there. I think Windows ate it. So that's fun. Let's get our instructions pulled up. And I should probably also screen record this. Hey Lois, tested 1, 2, 3. Alright, is it working? Cool. Alright, here it is. The instructions. It's this. Yeah, it's on Reddit. We're about to follow a deleted user's instructions on a 3-year-old Reddit thread, which is exactly the reason why this is not really a tutorial. All right, let's go. Also, this is not my main PC. I'm not insane. We're trying it on this laptop first because it's kind of just falling apart. Let's get the old registry open. Also, it looks like we're probably gonna need a LTSC product key, which I'm going to acquire very legally, and the install disk. Let's do the registry parts first. I wonder if this will destroy my computer with important information on it. All right, we gotta go here. Wow, look at that. Find edition ID. There it is. And change the data to Enterprise S. All right, you know, it surely can't be this simple, right? Guess we'll find out. And then you just run setup.exe off of the install ISO? Okay. Because I'm literally insane, I have an entire network folder dedicated to Windows ISOs. And look, there's Windows 10, LTSC, an entire 4 gigabytes. So this is not gonna convert the entire Windows 10 install to Windows LTSC and like remove all the bloatware and all that stuff that may have been installed by regular Windows 10. All it does is just kind of enable the update channel and remove features like news and interests that were retroactively added to Windows 10, and hopefully remove the nag to upgrade to Windows 11. That would be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and open this. I don't think you really have to make proper install media. I think you can just run it from the ISO. And I'm gonna run it right off my network drive. That's a great idea. This should hopefully keep all my files. Guess we'll see if it doesn't. Look, it's the notices and license terms. I accept those for sure. I ate 2 Heath bars, and look, it's done. You won't be able to use your PC while Windows installs. What version of Windows 10 LTSC is it installing? Is it installing IoT? Yeah, I kind of want IoT because I think the support for it's a little bit longer. I don't know why I'm reading Reddit for that information. I should just go to Microsoft. Hey, this isn't Microsoft. Yeah, we need IoT. That's the one that lasts until 2032. And it appears this is actually the correct registry entry. So I'm gonna put that in here. There. And now I have to redo all of this. Totally didn't take 20 minutes to get here already. All right, let's do it. All right, here we are again. There we go. Install Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC. That's what we wanted. Perfect. Install. It's just going. All right. Well, goodbye files if I accidentally didn't read something. Oh wow, 1% complete. What happens if I like Alt Tab while this is going? Oh Okay, we gotta stop this before it tries to restart itself. Didn't know that was possible. Microsoft, you lied to me. I can use my computer while you're installing. Let's just go back to the Windows 10 setup. Yeah, no, nothing to see here. Just installing Windows 10 while it's able to still use the operating system in the background. Anyway, time-lapse time. Listen to this cool song I made with Windows 10 sounds. Well, it's back on. And my account's still there. That took a painful amount of time. Let's see if we can log in. Welcome. So do we think the license key is still going to be active? I doubt it, but we'll see. We couldn't install Windows... What? No, what do you mean? Installation failed in the first boot phase with an error during whatever that is. Excuse me? I guess it didn't work. Can I go to settings and see? No, we're still on Windows 10. Oh, this is Windows 10 Home. I thought this was Pro. Great. Also, that took an insane amount of time. What has it been, like 4 hours just loading? Maybe I should put the DVD on the computer. How about we just do that? Okay, Windows 10 LTSC is on the computer now. Let me make sure the registry key is stuck because I know it likes to change it back randomly. Are we still set to IoT Enterprise S? Yes, we are. All right, I'm closing it. We're gonna quickly open this as fast as possible. And maybe we'll just ask it not to install updates this time because it can install updates when it's done. Change how Windows setup installs updates. Not right now. Next. There you go, accept. Making sure you're ready to install. I'm ready to install. It's clearly you that's not. It's been like 10 minutes. What is it checking? Genuinely. Oh my god, why is the CPU usage so high? Maybe it is doing something. There we go. Keep personal files and data. Yes, go install. There it goes. It being run from the internal SSD is much faster. Glad to know I wasted a ton of time again. Like I always do with this channel. Time-lapse time again. It's done again. Do we think it worked? Logging in to find out. Hi. Hello. I think it worked. We've got some updates for your PC. Hey, is this a good thing? It's not giving me the error that it gave me last time, but this also might just be the updates that I opted out of. Oh, hey, everything just loaded up. I didn't see any errors like last time. All right, let's check our Windows product information. Windows isn't activated. That's a great sign. But don't worry, it will get activated. Hey, look at that. Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC. We did it. We now have 6 more years of security updates. Yay, no Windows 11. You Windows 11. Time to activate this. Okay, the following thing is not me advising you to do this. Don't do it. It's just for me to see if it works. Absolutely do not open your browser and type in Microsoft activation script. And then whatever you do, do not click on this link right here. Scroll down, copy this, open PowerShell as administrator, and whatever you do, absolutely do not paste it in and press enter. You follow here, and definitely do not press the number 1 and then wait for it. Don't do that. It's software piracy. This is for education purposes only. Don't do it. And then whatever you do, if you press enter, the entire world will explode. Just kidding. It's done. We did it. We now have a computer. See, look, it's activated. We now have 7 more years of updates. I think it's now time to celebrate. It worked, and nothing bad happened at all. So yeah, if you hate Windows 11 like I do, you could just stay on Windows 10 with a registry tweak, a download of an ISO, which I already had, and you legally get a Windows 10 LTSC product key. So yeah, is it possible? Apparently, no issues so far. I guess we'll wait until the 14th and see if this thing is still able to get security updates. Links for everything will be in the description below, including the Reddit thread. I can't include the other things out of fear I'll get a copyright strike on my channel, but definitely don't follow my instructions and look at the links on my screen during the video, because that would not be helpful at all, because piracy from large corporations who have way too much money is definitely not ethical. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you'd like to see more, subscribe. Check out my other channels. I've got music, gaming, animations, the extras channel. And if you enjoyed the song during the middle of the video where everything was installing, click this right here, or scan that. Or slow down time and listen to it very fast in the span of 2 seconds. Here you go. Wow. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Damn, he could be a hand model.
I like the fast version of the song. 2 seconds.
Well, and I like actually watching somebody else go through that kind of process rather than which, you know, I do all the time, like experiment with installs and doing things like that. But sometimes it's nice to just be able to see, oh, that's what I don't want to do. That's what I do
That's
want
what
to
I
do.
did last time. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise you could spend 6 hours and have to start all over again. And
back to square one.
but I am going to keep an eye out and see if it does keep him updated now on future patches.
Yeah.
I mean, if
that would be
it
the question.
does, and I do reinstall my music machines every once in a while. In fact, this one I'm wanting to get this keyboard set up with it and turn it into a second workstation. If I know like I'm going to stick with Windows 10, then I'm going to use this edition in the future for a new install.
Yep. Very cool.
Otherwise, I'm going to keep it offline and just let it do what it does without being tainted.
Exactly.
So that was at Metrobyte 3, 03 over on YouTube. And he does look like an explorer.
Indeed.
Not Internet Explorer, like a computer explorer.
Trying to figure it all out.
And now we're going to explore a little bit of gear. Some synthesizers, just two I couldn't ignore this week. We get to go back in time to the CZ phase distortion synthesizers.
Nice.
Casio was way ahead of their time for digital synths in those early 80s. Most of the synths were all knob-based analog. Casio came along with this phase distortion, and it was like, imagine all those knobs on chips.
Knobby chips.
Oh, that sounds like some stale chips that I bought at 7-Eleven. These are some knobby chips, man.
What are you trying to do selling me these knobby chips?
Well, this is coming from Behringer, so these can't be knobby chips. They are they are a quality company, and from what I'm seeing, like they've got a couple of different mini synths that they're bringing back. Nice little compact with the sound engines. I see total MIDI support built into them. That can hook right to my keyboard.
Yep. That's what you're looking for.
And if it sounds like that CZ5000 that I loved, oh, it'll take me back.
All right. Let's hear it.
Phase distortion. It's not the type of synthesis you often see in today's synth world, and that's a shame, because back in the mid-80s, these things were all the rage, from its early synth releases right through to the glorious evolution of the CZ1. But fear not, because we've taken all those best parts and we've shrunken it down into our ever-growing mini-series, introducing the CZ1 Mini. turbocharge our popular mini-series of compact synths, what better way than to launch our first ever phase distortion synthesizer, the CZ1 Mini. An authentic reproduction based on and inspired by those beloved Casio CZ synthesizers of the 1980s. So, phase distortion first came onto the scene in late 1984, and over the next couple of years saw a flurry of the synths being released by Japanese digital calculator and watchmaker Casio.
Would you rather have a calculator or a watch? With a Casio calculator watch, you have both.
Released at a time where digital and hybrid synthesis started to take over from the previous years of massive analog synths, and they were designed with the idea of keeping synthesizers affordable to the enthusiast rather than just targeting the professional market. Something we can relate to. And they quickly flew off the shelves, finding their way into many homes and bedrooms around the world. And with the CZ1 Mini, we've kept all the wonderful peculiarities of those classic phase distortion synthesizers, and we've even taken the concept a step further by implementing it into a hybrid setup. So it features 2 DCOs with 3 voices and comes with the same 8 waveforms found on the CZ line of synths, with sawtooth, square, pulse, double sine, saw pulse, and 3 resonant waveforms, which when combined together can produce up to 33 different waveform types. It's got a digital controlled wave, or DCW, per DCO, a synthesis method unique to phase distortion, which can get pretty nerdy, but in a nutshell, it adjusts the magnitude of phase distortion applied to the oscillator. Each oscillator also has its own DCA in the signal path, and is the classic 8-stage envelope generator, revolutionary in its time and far more flexible than the standard ADSR. It's used as a pitch envelope for the DCO, a timbre or timbre envelope for the DCW, and a volume envelope for the DCA. It's got the classic line modes, featuring 3 voice polyphonic modes, and stacking options for complex patches and harmonics, and creating ensemble and chorus type effects. There's the detune options, and we've also added a hybrid element to this classic digital synth architecture with an analog low-pass filter and a built-in chorus effect. You've got 4 vibrato waves, which in phase distortion basically acts as the LFO, and there's the multitude of configurable settings in the function menu for things like MIDI USB synchronization, portamento, and vibrato, and it also includes a built-in arpeggiator and sequencer and features comprehensive MIDI implementation. Then back to the top of the panel, there's the USB-C connection for power and USB MIDI with an on and off switch, a high-quality OLED screen for setting parameters, a master volume control, headphone and line output, analog sync, and full-sized MIDI DIN. And finally, you've got a 27-touch sensitive keyboard for on-the-fly jamming. And it's also worth noting that the CZ1 Mini also supports the original Casio CZ series Sysex. And playing with this awesome little synth definitely evokes memories of loads of music I'm sure lots of us heard growing up. So I couldn't resist the urge to recreate one of the GOATs of 80s American action TV themes, see if you recognize it, and stay tuned because we've got more videos to come of this juicy little synth.
That's that's a bundle of fun in a little package there.
Exactly. And like you were saying, your baby, the CZ5000, mine was the CZ1 that they showed in there. It's 1986, that one.
Yeah. Well, I also had a 101 that they slid in there. That was the most popular of all of them. Like, just had that mini keyboard, which after seeing that demo, I really am spoiled. I'm like, I can't play on anything less than 88 keys. And this dude
And then
just
you see what
wrote
he
like
makes, that little thing.
this dude just like wrote a Flash Gordon like symphony on one tiny little octave.
Yeah, exactly. 2 octaves, I think, in there.
Yeah, two. Yeah, you got to at least be able to get a little bit of bass in while you're.
Yep. Can't be too small.
But if Behringer is like bringing back some of these classic synths like that, couple $100 to get back that CZ sound that I love, hell yeah! And it's got both USB and traditional MIDI plugs. I can use it on everything.
I loved exploring the waveforms on that thing. Just you try a waveform, you try adjusting it this way, just trying all the parameters. Everything was just out in front of you there, so you could just mess with all of it.
Yeah, it was so much easier to actually program the waveforms than the analog synth that I was playing around with in electronic music class. The knobs, nothing. Moogs didn't explain shit. You were just like kind of, ooh, what does this do? What does this do? With the CZ, you knew what you were doing on your LFOs and which wave. And after a couple of minutes of programming a patch, you're a programming expert on it.
Yeah. You could make a helicopter sound or turn it into, a violin or whatever.
The only other synthesizer that was that easy around that time was the DX. Yamaha's DX and Casio's CZ were the coolest synths on the block for programming.
Yeah, for sure.
And people made thousands and thousands of sounds. When you're getting a toy like that, and then you can log on to CompuServe, and it turns out that like 10,000 patches are available for you. That's why that engine was so incredible.
Got to catch them all.
So we saw that straight from the source, that Behringer. Keep making some cool shit. I want it all.
I like it.
And another company that makes some cool shit. I haven't bought anything from them since that digital mixer fiasco back in 2008. But Yamaha does make some good stuff. I've talked to some guitarists and bassists who are very happy with those products. For me, the keyboards, though, I never took that final step.
Yeah, gonna have to check it out.
And this one's coming from another big source on the internet, Sweetwater.
Oh, yeah.
and this is their sister at Sweetwater Soundcheck. This is where they actually do a lot of the cool reviews, demos, and anything that you're looking for. Look, we're going to actually be looking at this in a little bit, but not on this site. We're going to be looking at the Yamaha MODX M7. These just came out in the last couple of weeks, and all over the internet on our music channel, like every channel that does reviews of synths has been talking about this one.
76 key, yeah.
Yeah, you want to save, $500, $700. There is a big price difference when you go to those 88 key ones. If you don't really need that, or you want something light, that's what this 76 key is, practically like a feather.
Yep.
He's got a Sweetwater account. You're in good hands.
Nice.
But yes, hide it from your lady unless you've convinced her the toy that you're going to buy. So let's take a listen, see where Yamaha's gone with their sounds these days. They might convert me up.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Daniel Fisher here at Sweetwater, and today I'm with Tony Escueda from Yamaha, and he is showing us the new MODX M 6, 7, and 8. We have a 7 here, and I'm really excited about this because I'm currently touring with an MODX, and I'm really excited to see what these new features are.
A lot of great new features on this keyboard. A lot of them have to do with just physically putting your hands on the keyboard and being able to change the sound. We have 8 sliders on here now, 6 knobs underneath the screen, plus, of course, 4 knobs above the parts. We also have an added hard portamento switch to turn portamento on and off, and a knob for that.
Nice, I don't have to go diving.
Exactly, no menu diving. We have an additional button in here that's over here with all the other ones called navigation. And that way when you want to go and edit or change something, it's like a one-stop sign display, so you can see exactly where you want to go, and I want to go and look at the filter EG, I can go there. But you don't have to do any menu diving, you can just count on going to navigation.
Nice.
So this is something also that came from Montage.
And it's an order of signal flow too.
Yeah, absolutely. You also have a keyboard hold feature, so you can have it permanently hold the key on, so that if you're one of those players that you just want to play stuff and start turning knobs while a groove is going on, you can do that. A lot of different things on here have evolved into basically it came from the Montage M, and that's basically what the MODX M is it is a leaner, lighter weight, more affordable Montage M technology for the person that maybe they want the big money keyboard, but they don't have the big money bucks. They want those big money sounds, and they can get them in the MODX M.
And I really got to agree with the weight. I mean,
yeah.
I cannot believe, this is a 7, I can't even imagine how light the 6 is.
The case I brought this in is heavier than the keyboard.
And then the 88, what's that weigh about?
It's under 30 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's very, very light. As far as the rest of the interface, what's great is you have 8 scene buttons, which I know you appreciate for live performance, right?
Those a lot.
And I think that no better way to really show that is to show you how you might use that with a sound like this that is actually doing different things with the different scenes. So a simple string sound with a tremolo, but it will have a different sound setting when I use. But here, I can still have. So you can have it articulate all sorts of different things. It could be drum beats, it could be licks, all sorts of different stuff. And you can set all these things up, so it's almost like having a built-in, like 8-memory digital mixer for every one of the performances in the keyboard. As far as really expressive sounds, I think some of the fun things that are in here are not only, as keyboard players, we'll play and do whistle sounds where. This actually also has some of those articulations actually built into the velocity. So you can switch back and forth between the two of doing it manually. So a lot of great expressive stuff. And of course, all the things that you would expect to find from Montage are in here as well.
So like how the pianos compared to the MODX?
The pianos are, you have the CFX Concert Grand Piano in here. So you have all the pianos that are in the Montage M are in this as well. In addition to that, some of the most fun sounds in here are like movie trailer type sounds. So all sorts of fun things that we're all used to hearing when we're sitting in the movies and waiting to see our. All those suspenseful. At the same time, traditional sounds. But at the same time, maybe it's something more like an orchestral instrument with lots of expression on the super knob. Which of course I can control with my foot. I'll try to do standing up here. So lots of musical expression, lots of sonic variety, and that's really what, at Yamaha, we're very focused about sound.
And then how is this as a controller?
As a controller, this will operate as a MIDI controller as well, so you can control 4 zones. You also have the ability with the 2-host connection on the back, so this actually has MIDI audio and MIDI so you can connect and you have the capability of recording directly to any computing device, including your iPhone or your iPad or a tablet. Our driver is actually built into iOS, so we could take the correct cable with this. And if say you're a working musician or a church musician, and you have to play an arrangement for somebody of a particular thing that you're doing, and you just need to send it to them in a phone call or a text, you can simply plug that in, record even just into the simple voice recorder in your phone, and text it to somebody. So there's a lot of really great connectivity things with this that allow you to connect to everyday devices that you use, your computer, your phone, and so on. So how about we look at some of the more interesting sounds in here, let's say even something simple like an electric piano with a little bit of distortion on it. So you get a really good and of course, you also have the ability, to change the timbre with the knobs and so on. And not only just a particular like time-based piano, but maybe if it's something more like a of course, the assignable buttons will do different things, add different effects. Besides the conventional instruments, let's look at some of the things that are more synthesizer-based. And this Wavefolder Symphony is fantastic. So you can have all of those traditional instruments, but you can have very silky, very granular synthesizer sounds, or a combination of something traditional like a string with the pad and so on. So a lot of great stuff like that in here. At the same time, you want to go in here and do something more like an older traditional sound, like say a brass sound from something like the DX1. And you want to store different variations of that. Using motion sequence.
It's definitely FM.
Yeah, so lots of great stuff there. And then of course, spiralizer feedback. FM variations is another great one. Maybe more like a warm analog type sound using Smart Morph. Polydreams is one of my favorite analog sounds in here.
Tony, thanks for showing this. This is really nice to get a first look at it. If you have any further questions about the MODX M series, contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or go to sweetwater.com.
Oh, he knows how to demo a synth for me. He went after the string sounds and the there at the end, the brass orchestral ones,
Yep.
the little bit of expression and the little wind after he did the string one. Those are what like tease me into wanting that synth engine.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of where Wild is. 2 grand, little too spicy. 1400 for a keyboard like that, if it's under 30 pounds, 76 keys, I'll take that on stage.
Sure. Yeah, nice toys.
I would like it to be a little tougher looking though. When you put it on stage, it might take a little beating, little dings here and there, and that does look fragile.
You want it to be tougher? Put some tattoos on it, right? It'll look tough.
Well, at least it sounds tough. That
Mhm.
passes the sound check. That's at Sweetwater sound check. Hey,
Just like that.
I did a lead in. And this is a great sister site to Sweetwater when you want to see the gear in action.
And it's good to see.
Yeah. They haven't converted me to Yamaha, but they've certainly intrigued me into it. And this was the other product that was actually on that Sweetwater page. When it comes to headphone calibration, there's a couple of different approaches. We saw a VST last year that the VST actually uses like different headphone dynamics to equalize how your headphones sound. This goes a little further. This is a little bit of hardware mixed with a little bit of VST possible. Not sure yet, but it does allow you to calibrate different headphones. I got 10 pair here, and I could utilize this to actually make them all sound consistent.
Nice. Making adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, my big question is whether there's a VST, because when you do this, it's not good to do that for mixing reference unless what you're doing is part of the recording. Otherwise, you're just making your recording sound good in headphones, but that kind of calibration on the track, you need to be able to do what you're doing there and get it to sound like that on the final master.
Yeah, you want it to sound like it's going to sound, or when you're listening to it, you want to hear what it's going to sound like when the people are listening to it. So you want it to sound, like what it would sound like through normal headphones.
Yeah, the most intriguing solution, Dr. Snave has them. Though he has those like $450 headphones that have a VST plug-in, and he can actually adjust what it sounds like and affect the mix of the track at the same time with the VST integration, which for $450 to get the ultimate set of headphones, not that expensive if you ask me.
Yeah. As long as they last and as long as they're, solid.
If they can give me that like ultimate final mix. Can it sound like I'm in the car? Can it sound like I'm on a pair of Walkmans, simulating everything without having to go actually do it? Kind of cool.
Yeah. Making sure you're getting good reference.
So, Reed Stefan at Reed Stefan Music. We found this channel on a different night, and he uses Muppets, and I think it was like a one of the nights we were covering effects and like what do effects do,
Right.
and he was explaining some of that, and I love the idea of Muppets teaching me about music or gear.
Sure. Reed
And
Stefan.
yeah, this one is the IK Media Arc on Ear adapter. It's USB. It's also got, analog inputs. So it's flexible on the different types of headphones and connecting to your computer. Could become a must have.
Well, let's see what it's all about.
I have this love-hate relationship with mixing in headphones. On one side, I appreciate how portable, affordable, and quiet mixing in headphones can be. But on the other side, I struggle with the lack of space, lack of perspective, and the lack of a flat frequency response that I'm used to when I use studio monitors in a room. Plus, hearing the sound directly in your head where nothing from the left side is bleeding over into your right ear or vice versa, it just doesn't quite feel natural. Well, this tiny audio device fixes all of that and improves how you mix in headphones in a huge way. I'm talking about Arc On-Ear by IK Multimedia. In this video, I'm breaking down my favorite features, functionalities, and workflow improvements Arc On-Ear provides for your headphone mixing experience. I've divided this video into hardware design, software features, and listening. And of course, I'm going to explain to you everything that I'm hearing along the way. We're going to go through everything that makes this pocket-sized piece of gear the perfect solution for anyone looking to maximize the sound and quality of their headphones anywhere. As far as design goes, the first thing you immediately notice when you look at this device is this thing is tiny. It literally fits into the palm of your hand or the pocket of your jacket with no problem. But when you pick it up, you feel it's really dense and heavy for its size. And that's because, well, this thing has tons of features and a built-in battery that powers the device for over 4 hours. At its core, it's designed to be a portable headphone correction system and headphone amplifier, built to work in perfect harmony with the onboard DSP chips and converters that provide a low latency, all-in-one workflow for headphone producers and engineers. On the back, you'll find a power switch and audio inputs, which are stereo analog 1/8 inch or USB-C. A stereo analog input means Arc On-Ear easily connects to the headphone jack of any audio interface or mixer that you like, or literally anything with a headphone output can be corrected with Arc On-Ear. USB-C means it connects to any computer or mobile device like a tiny audio interface for high-quality conversion, high-quality headphone amps, frequency correction, speaker emulation, and more on the go. And when it's connected to USB-C, your battery is also recharging. Flipping to the front, you have a 1/4 inch output to connect your favorite studio headphones. The Arc On-Ear app includes presets for literally every popular brand pair of headphones, from low impedance, high impedance, open back to closed back. Almost any studio headphones you can think of, you will find in the app. But more on that later. On top of Arc On-Ear is where you get all the real control. Along the left side, you have your preset indicator, which helps you see which of your 5 presets you have open. These LEDs can also flash white to help you see information about your battery levels. The main knob in the center obviously controls your headphone output volume, and it actually has a really nice feel and resistance to it. It's a quality knob. And it's surrounded by 3 buttons around it to toggle the main features of Arc On-Ear. The Cal button enables or disables your calibration correction profile. The Studio button activates or deactivates your virtual room emulations. And the FN button can be assigned to a wide variety of functions like virtual speaker emulations, mono, mute, and more. These are perfect shortcuts for when you're using it as a standalone device. But when you're connected to a computer, you can also easily use your mouse to adjust these things on the fly using the included Arc On-Ear app. This app is the all-in-one hub where you can control every single feature in Arc On-Ear. This covers everything from frequency response correction to space emulation, which you can toggle here in the top left corner. These 2 EQ curves that you can see here represent my headphone models that I have set up, which are my Audio-Technica ATH M50X. These are my go-to headphones for every single studio session, but if you like a different pair, you have all these different brands and all these different pairs. For example, we can go check out what Sony has, what Sennheiser has, everything from Beyerdynamic, you name it, it's in here. I'm going to go for the Audio-Technica ATH M50X. For your virtual speakers, you have an equally huge collection of options. My personal favorite and the ones that I'm used to are the high-end 3-way preset, which kind of remind me of my ATC SCM25. If you use Barefoots or KRKs or Yamahas or even some older hi-fi monitors, IK Multimedia devices, and special small electronics like Bluetooth speakers, TVs, any kind of thing that you'd like to check your mix on and emulate is all here in Arc On-Ear speaker browser. Having my ATCs with me when I'm listening in headphones is a huge plus. Next to that, we have our studio simulation, which creates a little bit of room ambiance and width depending on how big of a desk and how wide of a speaker spread you'd like to emulate. And then, of course, we have our calibration. This gives you the option to completely flatten, warm, or brighten the EQ response of anything that you want to hear. But in most cases, I'd assume people are going to be leaving this at 0 because perfectly flat is usually what people are going for. It's really hard to make any pair of headphones produce an absolutely flat signal because you never know what preamps and converters it's going to be going through. And Arc On-Ear really solves that by giving you preamps and converters that were designed to work with the emulations with all these different pairs of headphones as a perfect system. Now this row here in the middle determines what the FN button does. If you want it to be a mute button, you leave it like this. If you'd like it to be your virtual speaker emulation, which is my preferred option, I'd set it up like this. If mono or dim is useful in your workflow, you just assign it by leaving whatever you want selected. And that is all encompassed in one preset. Now you get 5 different presets, so you can have a whole different studio configuration, a whole different pair of headphones. Maybe you have your favorite closed backs and your favorite open backs. When I'm using open back headphones, I tend to use my Neumann NDH30s, and here they are. And maybe when I'm using my Neumann NDH30s, I want to emulate my iLoud MTM studio monitors. I use these all the time in my Dolby Atmos setup. It's really nice that they have an official emulation in here. We can push the Cal button right on Arc On-Ear to enable or disable everything. Or if you have the app open, you could do it right here. When you're using it in standalone mode, having these buttons do these features for you is really handy. I've gone ahead and filled in all 5 preset slots with different pairs of headphones that I own, different speakers that I'd like to emulate, and created a full setup so that when I use Arc On-Ear in standalone mode, I have access to all 5 of my favorite setups. And you don't even need to have the app open to switch your preset. I mean, it is convenient to just click here with your mouse, but if you don't have a computer at all, you could simply hold the FN button for a few seconds and then start tapping the Cal button, and it'll start scrolling through all the different presets in your menu. And the LED indicators along the left side help you see which of your 5 presets you have open at any given time. And speaking of presets, the last useful control is up here in the top left corner. And while this button doesn't change what you hear, it more so changes what you see to remind you which speakers in which space you're using or what frequency responses you have active. But that's enough talking about how it works. Let's actually open up our DAW, connect Arc On-Ear, and make some mixing adjustments through these calibration presets to see what we hear. When you're cooking up on the go, there's 2 ways to connect Arc On-Ear to your DAW. You can either go through the headphone output of your audio interface, or you could USB it straight into your DAW. For me, less devices is better, so going straight USB into Arc On-Ear is going to be my choice. But if you needed to record a mic, you could still have your audio interface connected as well. So first, I'm going to start out by turning calibration, studio simulation, and virtual speakers off, then play my Ableton session and explain to you the difference that I'm hearing as I turn them on. All right, so we'll start completely bypassed. And let's turn on calibration. Oh, it's definitely a lot tidier sounding. There was a lot of unnecessary harshness and brightness in the headphones that got completely cleaned up. And the bass feels a lot rounder too. Ooh, so I just turned on studio simulation and things just got a little bit wider. Okay, so this feels like a small desk. And the wider you go, the bigger your studio feels. But now let's turn on virtual speakers. Hey! Let's go back to my ATC emulation. Woo! I like that. And without? Man, when you turn it off, it's crazy to think I used to listen to my headphones like this. Let's go back on. Yeah. Let's check out some other speakers and sound systems. Let's go straight to the cell phone test. Man, this sounds like a phone. That's crazy. Let's try switching to another device. Studio monitors, let's try the Yamahas. Actually, no, let's try the classic NS10s. This gives me a really nice perspective on my mid-range. Kind of helps me figure out whether or not the balance between my instruments and vocals is good. I could see this being really useful for vocal mixing. Maybe I should bring my background vocals up a little bit more. Anyways, let's get back to the speaker switching. Let's go to the Bluetooth speaker. This is something I always do before I print my final mix, and it's nice to not have to bounce your session to hear it in a Bluetooth speaker. I'm a huge fan. But for me, I'd probably spend most of my time right here. So, as a longtime user of these headphones, I can confidently say this has unlocked tons of new functionality and possibilities. Not only did Arc On-Ear help reduce unnecessary hype and EQ on my master, but it also allowed me to check my mix across a wide variety of speakers and devices without even bouncing my mix or switching headphones. So considering this device virtually lets you bring your studio anywhere you go, and it only costs $249, I'd say this is an excellent tool for anyone looking to take the burden of headphone correction software off of their computer and unlock the possibility of reference mixing through virtual rooms, virtual monitors, and testing your mix across various devices with full confidence and clarity in your headphones. It's so small and portable, you can literally take it everywhere. So there you have my full breakdown and review of Arc On-Ear by IK Multimedia. If you want to learn more about how Arc On-Ear can improve your portable or home studio, I've included links in the description below, and I'll catch you next time in another video.
Nice.
Damn it, Stefan, you made me hunt to see how much it was, but he ended up mentioning it there at the end.
Yep.
And 249. At first I was thinking, is that a lot for what I'm hoping to do here? After his explanation and how he was testing in simulated speaker environments, phone, 250 seems like the right amount. Completely worth if I finally don't have to fight with different headphones to get consistent sound.
Yeah. And that's the thing is when you're not used to doing something like the test he was just doing there and just looking at the cuts and the sweeps on those different profiles of the different headphones, that sounded way different. Like when you looked
Oh
at
yeah.
that one that sounded like a cell phone, you saw that most of the signal is just all right in that one little narrow band.
I think what's amazing nowadays, we can virtualize microphones. We are virtualizing speakers. We're simulating the sound environments, both on the input and now on the output with a device like this. You can virtually mix like you're in a recording studio with this kind of technology.
Yep. And you can check it and make sure that the reference sounds right in all the different scenarios on the same set of headphones instead of having to go get in your car and then go get the Bluetooth speaker out and then go to the club,
And I don't have to wake up the whole house. I could actually do it on my headphones.
Exactly. No, good stuff.
Yeah, that was a great review. You convinced me, man. Like I need something like this. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to spend $200 more to go with the alternative. This thing's powerful for such a little device.
Yeah, and looks plenty easy to use and still has plenty of, it has a whole library of all the different headphones that are out there
Yeah,
and speakers.
what that's important for what it's trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
If it has like all 10 of the ones that I have in this room, it's sold.
I'm pretty sure it would.
Yeah, most of them are Sennheisers, JVCs, like your typical.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a cool mix of gear and a little bit of IT in there with the operating systems and what's going to happen over the next couple of months. We're going to see mass migrations of people going to Mac or Linux.
Yeah, could be. You never know. It sounded like, the issues he was talking about with Mac didn't sound too good either.
Yeah, same situation, just a different account.
Mhm.
I have an Apple account too. I don't want to have to use it to get on my computer though.
Yeah. It's annoying.
And I understand when it comes to the updates, wanting to identify you and validate your copy of Windows. I'd rather not take the online account. Like, I don't want to need that just to turn on the machine.
Sure.
If my Starlink's not working, which during the winter is half the time, I can't be looking at my computer saying it sure would be nice if I could turn my computer on right now. I got power.
But it decided to snow, so I can't do it. Yeah. No good.
Oh, I hope we're going into a better future.
Yeah. Well, what do we got going on tomorrow for the future?
Actually, we're shifting to Sunday to Thursday schedules. So I think tomorrow's going to be quiet. I'm going to be jamming myself.
Nice. There you go. Little jam time.
Yeah.
We'll be back next Thursday, though. And you'll find other people here during the week.
Now I'm back.
Now you're back. How's things going with the WAG?
We will be the final edits. We just finished up last Saturday, and round 4 and 5 has a bunch of cool shit. 5, everybody came back for a jam. Those will be ready by next week.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to be doing over the weekend.
Got your work cut out for you. We always
Good
appreciate
thing I'm
that.
a worker.
Yeah. Definitely.
And much appreciated, Eyes and Wild. Like, I like when we're covering that kind of IT stuff and there's some gearheads in the house.
Absolutely.
I remember those days of Windows.
And then administration of Windows, and especially, some of those sites, we had hundreds of machines. Just thinking about the licenses and all, hundreds of machines on shelves in the back that were just ready to go, so that we could grab one and just run to someone's desk with the machine.
Yeah, well, he had to set up 250 of them manually, which I've done. But usually when you get to that, like when you start cloning, it's like 200 machines cloned is much faster than
and start
other
bringing it down
Windows
all
install.
Bring it all down from the user profile. Like when they log in, it'll bring down this, it'll bring down that. They can start getting everything going from there. The bane of the existence back then was the PSD files. So that was the that was the main issue.
Oh man, moving Outlook files around the network. That was actually like Mission Impossible. I could hear that theme as I tried to move this like multi-gigabyte email file.
Multiple multi-gigabyte email files that were all attached to the same thing. And so when people go, well, where's all my mail? It's like, it's in the file on that machine that you just killed.
In the case of the guy that I was moving, it was every email and correspondence he'd ever done in his existence of like 25 years of.
That's the record. You can always go back. You remember that thing we talked about 8 years ago on Tuesday? Like, oh yeah, that's right here.
That's how I can prove you're wrong.
Exactly.
I have it in an email.
And that's their tagline. He's got a little poster right behind him. I have it in an email.
Hey, IT guys do tend to keep their ducks in a row, and they do have the email that proves it was not
if they
their
stated
fault.
it. They stated it for a reason. Yes.
And if it was their fault, they're not a good IT guy.
Well, if it was their fault, they should admit it. That was my fault. I'm sorry, and I can fix it by doing this. Yes.
Yeah.
It's about having the answer, the solution.
We will have to have a night accountability
in
IT, because you can't spell accountability without IT.
Nope. Can't do it. But we'll do it on another Thursday after this Thursday.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
I'm ready for the weekend.
Yes.
Night, everyone.
Get your work cut out for you. Take care, everyone.
Good night. No, we cover.
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear at 82. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much RAM. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking shh, talking shh.